Hey dolls, it's me, Wilma Fingerdoo, reminding you that you should be subscribed to Bae Le Stray's YouTube channel and follow her on Instagram because she's a hoot. As far as the rest of the socials, I would wear a glove.
Hey everybody, it's me, Bae Le Stray. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing the review a little bit differently. I have a very special guest, Wilma Fingerdoo, and we just got to talking and we talked about so much Drag Race. That's how we're going to do the review today with Wilma. So without further ado, hey Wilma.
Hey girl, hey!
Ooh. Did
I'm having a
Jorge
little
bring you that drink?
cocktail. Well, no, it's his night off. Actually, it's too late for Jorge to be working, which is good because I'm not wearing pants. And no, I like to throw myself a skinny biatch. It's vodka and Diet Coke. Mm, delish.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Tonight we did watch Drag Race Holland. How did you feel about tonight's episode as someone who reviews it? Did anything stick out to you?
Well, weird things have been sticking out to me so far. I mean, we're only on we're halfway through it, but right away, something that stuck out with me was JJ, Janny Jack. She puts on all that, like when she's in the workroom, she puts on a lot of makeup. Like it's a lot of makeup, but between the workroom and her walking out on stage, it becomes girl makeup. Like it disappears. Like what was she wearing last week? The blue with the pearls. It was stunning. But the minute she got on stage, and then she had this ponytail wig, like she's often pulling wigs out and cutting the lace as she's gluing them to her face. And so it's like, are you literally shaking and going with that wig? I've just been really disappointed with her because I don't know if you know this, but Jackie JJ, that's what I call her because it's easier. JJ is on a TV show in Amsterdam or in the Netherlands, which is the Danish version of All Together Now, which Davina De Campo was on in Britain, where they have 100 people all sitting there and people sing and they judge them. So already JJ is a bit of a deal in Holland, but I'm not seeing any of that in the room. I'm getting all that mean girl attitude from her, which I hate. I since Fifi O'Hara, I immediately like even my favorite one of my favorite drag queens, Ginger Minge, right at the last minute became a mean girl. And it curls my teeth. You don't have to be mean. When these people read somebody for their look when nobody asks them, that's a mean girl. If I go up to you and go, girl, is this ugly? And it's like, yes. That's me telling a friend. If I go, yes, and here's why, that's me telling somebody I don't like too much, but they asked. There's a difference. But I'm loving this cast because they seem to be more emotional. There is a level of social interaction in the Netherlands, in my opinion, that we used to have when we were less politically incorrect. They're very much like it was proven today in the Snatch game with Miss Abby OMG's character. She said something very, she called Fred a homo, and everyone reacted to it. But I'm sure that the woman he was portraying, or that Abby was portraying, would have said that. But the way they edited it, and because I have no idea who any of these people were, I mean, I knew a couple, but can I admit something to you, Bae? I don't want you judging me. I think I'm the only person alive, even with all of our quarantining, who has still not seen Tiger King.
Oh my god, you are missing
I
out
know,
on
I
some great
know.
trash TV.
Right. That's why I won't watch it. It's like I try so hard not to be that person. I don't need to watch that person. And I remember right away. Like, there's been a couple of shows where I've watched it, and halfway through the show, I go, these people are gross. I wouldn't have them in my house. And then I stopped watching. And when Tiger King was being promoted on Netflix, back when we were all walking in nature with children, I was like, I'm not watching that. And then it got to a point where it's like I have nothing else to watch. I've looked at it twice and gone, who would know? But I still haven't watched it. So I had no idea how Chelsea did in the challenge, but um, the reaction that I was more, how engaging were they to me to watch, and what was the reaction of the people who knew who they were portraying? and that's how I knew that like Envy did well and Chelsea did well. But then it was very obvious, like someone like JJ just disappeared, and why she was wearing that Dutch. I don't know who the woman was that she was doing it, and I'm so glad somebody said to her during the critique, "Why were you wearing that?" Because they said she hasn't worn something like that in years. So at some point, that woman wore that outfit. But this is one of those reasons why I think that JJ, Jackie Janney, is, you know, a lot of hot air in a bag. And the bag's a brown paper bag, you know, sparkle it up. Let's
Yes,
go.
that's what I said about Janie Jacquet, or as I like to call her, Janie Jacquet. That
Oh,
she was
yeah.
always gonna have a lot to say this season. Like she's always gonna have something to say. And for Chelsea's snatch game, I was surprised how many F words she got away with. It was like jarring at one point. I was like, okay.
Well, I know we watch Drag Race on Out TV here,
Mhm.
and it's not edited, but they do as they air them. But then I have noticed on Netflix that they are. You know, they take that a lot of swear because I guess the broader audience. Out TV is like Logo TV in the States was. It's our gay national channel, and that's where I watch it. So I like the swearing for the emotion that it is, because sometimes a swear word is what you need. Personally, I try not to use them because I feel dirty. But sometimes you just got to let an F bomb hit somebody right in the face. You're too close, is what that says. Um, but with Chelsea swearing like that, I think I have to tell you, this is so sad, and I'm not proud. I was just so grateful she was speaking English. I mean, I didn't much care what the heck she was saying or how, like, and you know, as cute as I think Chelsea is, that was a lot of turning around and showing us whatever the heck that was. And I wasn't into it, but it was a complete character and the reaction from everybody. Like, when you see Jenny Chake saying in the interview, it's like, oh, she's killing it. You know, this isn't a girl that gives anyone a compliment. That JJ, she is. It's her or no one.
Janie Jacquet, you mentioned you didn't really care for her runway looks, but whose runway would you say that you cared for this week? Who was your top bae, the best look?
It had to be Chelsea. I thought I understand the judges' confusion with how this challenge was interpreted. That classic divided man woman look, it's tired. It's also insulting to our non binary brothers and sisters out there. And, you know, this identification of sexuality is almost our last frontier. You know, we work so hard to be accepted as homosexuals, the gays, the lesbians, even the bisexuals are still, there's still, because that vague sexuality, it frightens people. So transgender was the next one. People are finally getting their head around that. But this non-binary and calling people they and them and not using like sexualized pronouns and stuff. It's hard. I'm 54. It's hard for me to do that because no one's ever done that before. And when I say they and them, it's like, well, who else are you talking about? You know, if somebody like I find it now, I'm more sensitive to it. Like if I see a picture of somebody and I can't tell if they're one or another, and I guess, well, they could be that. I just say they or them because, quite frankly, it saves me a lot of embarrassment, and I don't insult anyone. But I also don't have a problem with that identification. I just forget, or sometimes it's hard. So when I saw some of these girls coming down the runway in more um, like that fluid, like poor Mama Queen, both sides of her runway were stunning. The demon one with the horn. Oh, I would have loved to see that as a whole outfit. And then the good one, I would have loved to see that as a whole outfit. They were stunning. But it was hard for the judges to understand the duality there. And then with Chelsea not having a divide down the body, but you could clearly see there was a more masculine and feminine side to this unisex swirling of whatever. I was really impressed with that. I really hated Center Sheen's runway. I thought that was a long walk for not much. Do you know what I mean? I think she just had a big green suit that she wanted to wear. And I do have to say, Envy Peru, God, is she ever beautiful? But she's also very handsome. Like, I'm not a huge fan of a lot of work on a face, male or female. If I don't see it as work, I'm fine. But if I look at you and I start to be distracted by wondering, oh, what have they had? Like, what's happening there? It's not I'm not a fan of that. And I find with Envy, she's right on the bubble. Like, there's some moments where she got lip gloss on her face or something, and it makes her lips look even more pumped. And I'm like, oh. And then she walked down the runway tonight with her boy face, and it's like, oh, aren't you handsome? And Abby as well, Abby OMG. I'm not particularly, I'm not a fan of Abby's, but I don't hate her. I just find her unnecessary. She's one of those beautiful, like, she's just very lucky. She's a beautiful, beautiful boy, a even more beautiful girl. And when she walked down the runway, you could see it. It's clear. She's a handsome boy. She's a beautiful girl. But those aren't skills that you have to work at. That's luck, and you enhance those. And she's got the skills to enhance both of those. But short of that, I find a lot of her execution, like that runway she had with the flowers, it's like all she's thinking about is this tight shot, and it had just been her and flowers, fabulous. But how you get there? Well, you walk on those legs that have nothing on them. So there's things about Abby that I'm finding, like, to have her and Envy walk down the runway in the same exact idea and see how they're executed. I thought they both did an excellent job. I'm not saying Abby didn't do well, but there was just something about how Envy presented it. And then I was thoroughly impressed by JJ's mirror, because at
That was
first I
my
thought, what the
favorite
hell is
concept.
that?
When I first saw it, I was like, wow. And you could, like, it was the first one you could tell actually boy, girl, like, from afar.
Completely, because all she had to do was turn her face and not look out, so she was wall-eyed, just look forward, and it's all girl. I looked at all boy. I mean, I wish the back of that wig was a little tighter to her back there, but that mirror, because at first when I saw it, I'm like, what the hell is this? And that's mostly because I don't like her. I'm fair in my review of her, but I also, while I'm watching it and she's talking, like, I just. But yeah, I was impressed with that. It made me think of Evie Oddly's finale with the mirrors that gave her three faces, which was so gorgeous.
Yeah, she doesn't turn too many looks, but tonight she did turn a look.
Yeah, that was
Envy,
impressive.
speaking of turning looks, Envy is always turning looks, and like you said, completely stunning. I see her as very top material. Who do you
Yeah.
see as the top three right now?
Well, I picked for my top three Envy, Chelsea, and Sedergine. And I need to be very honest. I don't think I've ever been wrong. I picked Sasha Velour to win. In my defense, I said she will either win it all or they'll kick that crazy one out first. Like, this is how they'll accept. Because Sasha Velour was a bald art queen. I looked at her immediately. I saw all of her videos and thought, oh no, oh no, they'll hate that in the workroom. They'll push her right the hell out. But that wasn't the case. And I thought with Sedergine, because I really love that classic comedy queen, and her playing, like, she's 27 and she looks 40 as a boy. She looks older as a drag queen. And I mean, I love beautiful drag. Don't get me wrong. Every time Envy Peru turns around in something, I'm vomiting from the eleganza. But I like fun too, and I think Sedergine really encapsulated it beautifully. So she was a pick for me to win, just because I think for a comedy queen, she's a good representative. She's at the top of that game. I picked Envy Peru because, first of all, she was on a Nikki tutorial, so I already know she's famous. But she's also the most social media followed queen in Belarus, which is Belgium, Luxembourg, and the Netherlands. And she eclipses everybody. Like, she's more. Oh, I lost my earring. She's more famous than Jackie Janney, and she's on TV.
When she walked in, she was the last queen to walk in on that first episode. And every one of those queens, you could see it from JJ down to Room. It was like, like, not just, oh, it was like, oh, damn it. And and she looked spectacular. That outfit with the wig. And then she had one of my favorite photos of that photo shoot. Like she and Abby both just literally dropped into that water and boom, there it was. And you know, last week she came down the runway in that rain cloud dress, which I thought, oh, it's cute, but she has no shape. And then she opened it and it was the whole sunshine. It's like, oh, well, pardon me. Like I felt like that's what you get for doubting Envy, is she throws a big old look in your face, you know. So I've been really impressed with her. I have to say though, because I couldn't find anything online of her performing, it's just mostly Instagram stuff. It was hard for me to get an opinion of her, but because I knew that she'd been on Nikki tutorials, like I figured there's a level of professionalism here. And then Chelsea, I picked as the top winner because her. Have you seen her Instagram page?
I have ran across it a few times, but that
Oh,
heart
at
applique
first,
look,
the which one?
the heart applique, shine, not shine bright like a diamond. What's it, shine bright like a diamond? Yes, that
I
one.
think the thing with her, when I first saw her page, it was very art punk. Like her first like few rows of I'm going through them, and it wasn't drag. It was, there might have been an eyelash, but there wasn't a wig. There was a spiked piece of paper, or a mohawk hair, or she was painted in rainbow or something, or there was a shot of her on stage looking like a rock star at a Gwar concert. You know, it was very broad and not drag specific, but there was performance there and there was art. And I'm like, oh, and as I'm looking through this, I'm going to go, oh, they're going to hate her in the workroom because she's not doing fish. I literally said that, one more swipe, and all this fish. And I was like, oh, because she's a beautiful boy and the bone structure is all there. Her body's good. She's got nice long legs. So there's no reason for her not to be a pretty drag queen if she wants to be. And then I saw her pictures like, oh, and I thought, oh, this is going to be, she'll walk in and be weird. And they're going to, because that promo shot with the blue head and everything was stunning. Somebody else I was excited for because of their promo shot was Room Service. And then immediately I found out, the first thing I read about Room was that she was a YouTube queen. She didn't perform in front of eyes. I was like, oh. So then I immediately looked at her picture again and thought, okay, well, where did she get that wig? Where did she get that? Like, you know, and then I looked at some of her videos, and she doesn't have performance videos. She has like tutorials and more. She did this series called Dark RuPaul, which was a spoof on RuPaul's Drag Race, but it wasn't a flattering one. And she was one of those queens who was like adamant, I'm never going to be on RuPaul's Drag Race. And then she walked in the door, and a lot of queens, the reaction that we saw was them going, I would have put money down she would never darken a door here. So she was a real mystery. And to go into an environment like that with no performance background and to be okay about it, I mean, part of me really wanted her to be brilliant, like to kill it. And then we heard after the fact that her runway was not the runway she had brought. It was a second choice. And everyone was like, oh, she should have worn the first one. They didn't let her wear the first one. It's like, well, but she chose that as her second. Like, bring a second look. Okay, I'm going to bring this great one because I'm wearing it, and we'll stick that in the bag just in case I need it. You know, it's, if you brought a crappy costume, then what do you want people to say about you? Yeah, I think Chelsea has the potential to win. The fact that she didn't win Snatch Game officially, but that actor who was judging said that she did, was impressive. I think that maybe her runway, because Envy's was more literal and hers was not, I think that's maybe what tripped her up.
Well, you know what, Wilma, it has been great talking to you tonight.
Oh, thank you so much.
Before I let you go, I want you to tell everybody where they can find you at.
Well, I'm on YouTube. If you just Google search Wilma Fingerdoo with 2 O's, but it's the Fingerdoo Review. I'm also on Instagram, W Fingerdoo with 2 O's, and I'm on Twitter. And I think it's, see, I'm so terrible at this because I don't know what my handle is. I don't message myself, but I think on Twitter it's the Wilma Fingerdoo. If you search Fingerdoo with 2 O's, you will find me. I'm the first one that hit.
Absolutely. Well, it has been so much fun talking to you tonight. Goodbye.